good, San Francisco? I always love being in the Bay, man. My name is Alicia Garza. And I believe that Black people deserve to be powerful in politics. I have worked for the last 20 years to make Black people powerful in every aspect of our lives, whether that be in Bayview Hunters Point, for 10 years, organizing against environmental racism and against gentrification and displacement, whether it be organizing in East and West Oakland to make sure that Black communities can be safe, or whether it be for the last 6 years with the National Domestic Workers Alliance, or whether it be with an organization that I helped to found that's called Black Lives Matter. Now, in my work over the last 2 decades, one thing remains clear. Black communities are called on to save the country, but we get very little in return. In 2008, Black communities turned out in record numbers to elect the first Black president this country has ever had. In 2012, we did it again, turning out at higher rates than any other ethnic group. In 2016, Black voter turnout decreased, but we still did the damn thing. When faced with a threat, like the current president, we knew what needed to be done and we performed. In 2018, Black women defeated a known racist and predator named Roy Moore in Virginia. And last year, we turned out in unprecedented numbers, unheard of for a midterm election. We helped change the balance of power in Congress despite the best efforts of those who tried to keep us away from the polls, Georgia, because they know how powerful we are. Y'all, the truth is, Black people are the strongest base that the Democratic Party has. We show up time and time again, but rarely do we get what we need from the party that depends on us to survive. That ain't right. And that's why I started the Black Futures Lab. Because we believe that Black people deserve to be powerful in every aspect of our lives, and politics is no exception. When it comes to saving the country, we already know how to do that. But when it comes to getting our needs met, suddenly the same forces that are cheering us on are nowhere to be found. In 2016, we saw firsthand what the risks are of ignoring the most consistently progressive constituency in your base. When it comes to politics, we assume that people are already with us, and we don't do the work to engage them and their concerns, and when we don't do that, this is what happens. We can no longer settle for concerts right before an election. We have to move beyond talk shows and move towards town halls. So we decided to take matters into our own hands. We designed a project called the Black Census Project, which set out to talk to as many Black people as we possibly could about what we experience every single day in the economy, in democracy, in society, and we asked a very fundamental question. What do you want to see for your future? I know, think about that. Anybody ever asked you what you want to see for your future? We asked nearly 40,000 Black people across the country in 28 states across the nation. We didn't just want to extract data. That happens a lot. People go into communities, they pillage what they can, and then they run off with the treasures, leaving nothing behind. We wanted to make sure that Black communities were left stronger than we found them, So we trained 106 Black organizers across the country, not just to administer the survey, but to learn the tools of how to organize and make change happen. You see, too often there is an assumption that Black people are just one kind of way. We assume that all Black people live in urban areas. We assume that all Black people are heterosexual. We assume that all Black people are Christian and born in the United States. But I can tell you, we set out to change that narrative. We talk to Black people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, gender nonconforming, non-binary, and heterosexual. Rural and urban Black people, liberal and conservative Black people, incarcerated and formerly incarcerated Black people, and Black people born in the US and Black people who were not born in the US. We accomplished something that has not been done in 153 years. I know. And now we have relevant, recent data on Black people as we are, not how people assume us to be. And this data can and will be used to impact policy in cities and states across the nation. The Black Futures Lab is using this data to develop a Black progressive political agenda that can help Black communities determine which candidates share our vision for governance and for power. This agenda can help Black voters make tough decisions about which candidates truly have your best interests in mind. The data, as I said, can also be used to influence policy. For example, our survey tells us that Black voters overwhelmingly care about racist sentencing laws. That's why we're launching a campaign this year for what we call cannabis justice, ensuring that the people who have been targeted by the drug war can succeed in the booming cannabis economy. All right, so look, we're not supposed to release the results until the end of March, but it's Lesbians Who Tech, so we prepared a little sneak peek for you. Here's what we know. If you want to win Black votes, you got to speak to Black people the way that we experience issues. What we know is that Black Lives Matter, Black media, and Black elected officials were the most important organizations and institutions to Black communities, as reported by our survey. And although Black communities consistently vote progressive when we do vote, if we don't vote, it's because we don't think our votes will make a difference, or because we don't like the candidates or the issues that are being discussed. Think about that. It seems like a no-brainer, but unfortunately, it's harder to grasp than you think. How many of you have heard the Democratic Party talking about courting white working-class voters? I thought we wanted Black people to save the world. So if our strategy is to go after folks that aren't consistently a part of our base, it's kind of like going out on a date with somebody you have a really big crush on to save your marriage. Not really a good strategy. And since we're at Lesbians Who Tech, I figured we should probably talk about the lesbians specifically. The Black lesbians, that is. Now, about 17% of our survey respondents identified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and non-binary, and about 3% of our survey respondents specifically identified as lesbian. Through our survey, we found that the top issues impacting Black lesbians are low wages, unaffordable housing, expensive-ass healthcare, and violence against us and other queer people. Compared to the rest of the survey respondents, the respondents who were Black LGBT folk were more likely to be concerned about the deportation of undocumented immigrants. sexual harassment in the workplace, and violence against LGBT communities. When it comes to policy, Black LGBT communities consistently oppose hiring police officers to do safety in schools, support ensuring access to safe and affordable abortion, support marriage equality, and support citizenship for undocumented immigrants. We are more likely to report negative interactions with the police, we're more likely to experience harassment, and we are more likely to be treated with less courtesy, basically like once a week. That's what the survey said. Now, this kind of information is important for policymaking, and it is important for the project of governance. It's an important reminder that Black communities are an integral component of the progressive community, and on the road to 2020, it is essential that Black communities are engaged, that we are courted, that we are romanced, and most importantly, that we are listened to and our concerns are responded to. So, 2019 is a big year for us. This year, we're focused on building the capacity of Black voters to be powerful in politics. From Black voter education, to campaigns that improve the lives of Black people, to voter mobilization during the primaries and during the general election, we are more committed than ever to making sure that Black people are a force to be reckoned with. Are y'all with me? We do this because Black people deserve to be powerful in politics, and you can help us do it. If you want to find out how to get involved or how to help us out, just holla at theblackfutureslab.org. Thank you.